a dy- it is a dynamic organization who go down to the Capitol and they take children, our school children, to learn about what happens during the legislative session, and they learn how to be advocates. So they are policy advocates, always advocating on behalf of Georgia's children. We were Angel Payne from Black Wall Street, and she's going to teach us about Civics 101. That should be very interesting because civics is no longer taught in our schools. So she's going to teach us about being aware of what it is entailed in being a civic-minded citizen and what you need to do. And last but not least, we will have Fulton County represented by Don Butler's office, the Fulton County Health and Human Services Community Services Department, and they deal with homelessness, trying to get our homeless situated and off the street. And they also deal with other areas of advocacy. So the lineup is, I just gave to you, is from 4 to 6 p.m. via Zoom. It is this Thursday, August the 11th. And thank you, Councilman Reeves, for putting this in your newsletter that came out today. Thank you so much for the support.
And absolutely. As you know, the South Fulton Human Coalition, Services Coalition is a great organization. Could you explain what do y'all do as a conglomerate?
As a conglomerate, what we do, we have partners and we meet monthly, except for the months of June and July. And what we do, we go out and find resources for our citizens. Say, for instance, we have constantly been having concerns with the Union City homeless problem. And the Union City police have been working with us to try to find remedies for getting the homeless off of the streets in Union City and from the Walmart. That was a big problem. So we reached out to the Fulton County commissioners, and we were connected with Don Butler, and we were able to find funding to get these citizens off the street and help rehabilitate them. We partner with other organizations in the South Fulton area, say for instance, back to school, if there's a feeding program going on, we try to partner with them to make sure that we help them get the needed food and provide the backup as far as having us to participate with, well, distributing the food. So those are just some of the things we do that we have done in the past. Now, we participated with the mental health fair that Commissioner Rahman Abdur held in May, Memorial Day weekend. And we distributed materials on mental health and things that we felt we could help the citizens with as far as getting resources for mental health. So what we are is a resource mechanism with partners throughout the South Fulton area. We have a lady who comes on our Zooms. She's from Grandma's Hands, and Grandma's Hands provides help for grandparents raising their grandchildren, be it that their parents are deceased or incarcerated. And I think I see Ellen Miller Mapp. She is a regular participant on this Zoom. Yeah, there she is. She participates often, but we are a resource and we partner with resources to help the citizens improve their livelihood or improve the situation that they are in.
Absolutely. A good buddy sits on that board as well as Mr. Charles Barlow. And so
Yeah.
and I'm very familiar with your organization, as we had a couple of meetings. And I'll tell you that the some past experience that you have, that we are facing a problem to make an immediate impact here in the city of South Fulton, is at the Walmart down here in South Fulton, and the gas station is Ms. Sheila can point you out as our homeless problem is growing, and so is our too. We have a working homeless as well. So maybe we can get together with some of the nonprofit cohorts and some of the nonprofits around here and assist with that, as there are right now grants that are available to assist with this funding and assist with this financially that's available today. And so, and we're going to be upcoming and talking about that soon. So look forward with partnering with your organization on trying to move that needle forward. And so, and I'm glad to see you on here. And so, as I like the work that y'all doing and the footprint that y'all leaving.
Well, thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for all the support. And we're just out there doing the little bit that we can.
Every little bit helps if we all do that. And so we can do it. Every part equals the whole. So, you know, that's let's all do our little part. So
that's true.
All right. And did anybody have any questions?
I just want to say, this is Ellen, Ms. Louder. So good to see you again. I look forward to participating in the discussion on that.
Great, thank you. We're looking forward to having you.
Oh yes, and Gary Harris is a good friend of mine. And so we started off at Toastmasters together years ago. And so he moved up to Virginia. He actually came and hosted our Environmental Justice and Awareness Symposium last year for Earth Day. So good guy.
Yeah, good guy. And I just wanted to say that I knew Corey when he was a kid.
Little baby.
A little guy.
A little baby.
Dad, Larry, and his mom, Beanie, we lived in the same subdivision, and I saw him grow up, and they did a great job raising I call him my play son, Corey.
Yes, ma'am. All right, that's awesome.
Ms. Louder, we have a question. Are you able to post the Zoom link in here, or do you need to email it to me to post it?
I can post it in the chat.
All right.
Okay.
Is there any other questions for Ms. Louder? I'll ask one. So how does a nonprofit organization, or is it for-profits and nonprofits that partner with you? How do they become part of your group?
You just let us know by attending a meeting, or if you check Facebook, we can send you a memorandum of understanding as a nonprofit or a profit organization. And once you sign the memorandum of understanding and get it into us, and then you will be invited to all of our meetings and events.
Okay.
And Ms. Lala, I have a suggestion. Is because that they have Giving Tuesday. I believe that's coming up soon, and so what? It's like a kind of a hosting, but we can talk offline about that. Is like but when we do that Giving Tuesday, I ask that the people give to the nonprofits around this area so they can see the immediate impact of the return on their investment, and maybe that you can. Maybe the coalition could be a hosting out there, do it through that. So, but we'll discuss this offline, so we can flesh that out.
Okay, great. And I see another Sheila on. Is that Sheila Joyner Pritchard, our immediate past president? She might want to add something, if that's her.
That's Sheila Brown.
Oh, okay. Okay. All righty.
And so thank you, Ms. Louder. Please, you can attend any meeting anytime, not just because you want to. We provide resources and we talk to different organizations every week. We have Ms. Tish, am I gonna say this right? Nagasi.
Ms. Tish Nagisi. Yes. Okay.
Hello.
Hey, Tish, how you doing?
I am
Please
great.
introduce
Thank
yourself.
you. Yes. Yep. We had a great time Saturday. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to working in Fulton County. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Tish Nagisi, and I'm running to be a representative in House District 68. It's an open seat. It used to be House District 64, which was Derek Jackson was the representative, but he ran to be lieutenant governor. And he was not successful in that bid. So I am running to be your representative on the Democratic side. I do have an opponent that has been endorsed by Donald Trump, and he's looking to um, be the next representative and be a police state. I'm not going to talk too much about him. I'll just tell you about myself and why I want to be your representative, and you can make the decision on who it is you want to represent you. I've lived in Georgia all my life. I was born here. My family we lived in Adamsville, a section of Atlanta, and we moved to DeKalb County. And then when I got married, we moved to College Park. It was College Park then. It's now South Fulton. So I lived in South Fulton since 2002, and we moved. Since 1992, and then we moved to Fayette County in 2002. So I do have a vested interest. I do have that same property that I'm renting out. So I have a vested interest. When I do shop at Walmart. I go to the one on Old National. Whenever I need to go somewhere, I go to Old National. It's closest to me, and that's where I feel comfortable and where I want to, the community I want to go to. So I am an environmentalist. I am the chairperson of Vice President Al Gore's Climate Reality, the Atlanta chapter. So I'm looking to ensure that our Black and Brown communities have just as much resources and sustainable energy as they do on the North Side. So any funding that's coming down here, especially with the new bill that the Senate just has to go back to the House, is the inflation cares bill. So monies that's coming down federally has to come to the state, and then I'm going to ensure that our communities are going to be seeing those funds for climate changes in our communities, for sustainable energies, making sure that we have electronic vehicles, charging stations in our communities, not just on the north side of the community. I will be spending a lot of time in Fulton County because I know I cannot win without your vote. I can't. It's just, I'm going to need every single person in Fulton County to come out and help me win and be your representative in House District 68. This won't be the first time that you see me. I will also be working on in some committees, and I'm open. I'm always going to be available. I believe that being in the community is more part of a job than the legislature. So I just wanted to introduce myself, and hopefully I can get to see some people. I see Fieldwood Homeowners Association. If I can get with you, I do have some for kids, small hand sanitizers that I want to give out. So these are some of the things that I want to be in the community to do. I also want to make sure that I have a meet and greet in those 4 cities so that people can just know who I am, not just a name, but who I am and who I will represent as their representative. And thank you for that time.
Ain't no problem, Ms. Nagisi. And so thank you so much. As Philwood actually has a community meeting coming up on the 20th. I'll let them tell you about it. And but also too, will you work with those in those communities, with the community leaders in a collaborative effort to face some of the issues, particularly the environmental issues, as I'm advocating for a bridge to go over CSX, as that's the only remedy solution that we can have. And that's one of the major problems that we have down here. And I know at the state level, there's things that can be done with infrastructure, and then y'all have a quicker dial pad to the
right. So
up in DC and work with them.
Because I'll
Yes.
tell you which committee I'm on. We'll talk offline.
Yes, absolutely. But you will work with those out there, these community leaders in the collaborative effort. So awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Nagisi.
Okay.
Any questions?
I have a
Anybody have
question.
any questions?
I
Go
have
ahead.
a, yes, Ms. Nagisi. This is an issue I think that's come up in various areas of our city and also other cities in South Fulton, and that's a level 1 trauma center. And I know that we would need to support the state legislature to get that into this area, not just city of South Fulton, but the other South Fulton cities. What would you do and can you do to help push something through for this area to get us that kind of healthcare support?
That's a great question, and thank you for asking that question. As a representative, the level 1 trauma center, if we had Medicaid expansion, which I am as an advocate for that, those federal dollars that we rejected while Brian Kemp was the governor, we will receive those fundings. And once we receive those funds, I'll fight very hard to ensure that the South Side has a trauma center. We do not have one. If you do, you have to go probably all the way down to Fayetteville, or you have to go to Clayton County to have those services done. So if we get a
Did she cut off? Hello?
dinner to save the lives of our people in our community.
We did not hear you.
You didn't? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's like
Can
you
you
just,
hear
it's
me
just
now?
like you just went dark.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now? I said
Yes,
that
ma'am.
with Medicaid expansion, we will have the funds that were rejected from the current governor, and we will have Medicaid expansion. And that will be the first thing that I will be advocating for, is to have a trauma center in the on the South Side, because if someone has some trauma in our community, they have to go to either Clayton County or they have to go down to Fayetteville. So we need to have something in our community that is sustainable, so that in South Fulton and the surrounding cities around South Fulton, we will have somewhere, a trauma center, to ensure that our residents in the area are going to be cared for in a manner in which they would on the north side of the city. So I'm an advocate for making sure that our community does have a level 1 trauma center.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And so you're gonna have to lobby hard, because this is because the first thing they have to issue is the certificate of need, and they just closed the emergency room down off of the one Cleveland Avenue, and so I think that we have a need down here, and so whatever that is we'll support you, because we get that, and then that paves the way for us to progress forward in achieving that objective. So. Because we definitely need one. And thanks again. And so when is the election?
The election is November the 8th. Early voting starts in October. The last day to register to vote on November the 8th is October the 11th. So anybody that wants to register needs to do so before October the 11th. And early voting starts in October, and I forget the dates in there, but I think it's only 45 days before the election.
Okay. Thank you so much. Anybody have any other questions for Ms. Nagisi? All right, awesome.
Well, the floor is open to the community tonight.
I have a question for Councilman Reeves.
Yes, ma'am.
I am on the wait list for this Rain Barrel workshop,
That's the 13th of August.
and it's already full. So I'm on the wait list, so I'm being told that if a ticket becomes available, they'll notify me, but is that something that might happen again if people can't get a ticket and they're on wait list or?
Well, as I will ask them because they do such a good job down there, and so that if the wait list becomes equal to the same class, that they can do one the following weekend, but they do preset their schedule, so we can ask and get you back an answer, and so because it's a very good workshop, and so and then you get a rain barrel, you can learn how to basically reclaim and recycle the water, because the rain barrels come with a spigot. You can attach a hose to it, water your plants, and it's using the natural water from the sky. And so yes, absolutely, definitely check on that for you.
Okay, thank you.
And
Willie
thank you,
Joy?
Jane. Even though the assistant fire chief is not on here, thank you, Jane, for reaching out and making that effort happen. I don't know what happened, but I'm pretty sure that we're going to get on that. As I'm still, I'm expecting to hear about all the city, the hydrants that's around the technical boundaries of the city, and what ideas y'all came up with to identify them unique markers, as to know that you are in the city of South Fulton.
Sir, and he will be on next week. He had a prior engagement that he forgot about, so I just told him he could come on next week.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for pushing that forward. Oh, and Fairwood and Sister Diane, we did come back to Fairwood. I was a little bit. We did they did the back to school cookout and bag giveaway and stuff, and so I just missed y'all apparently, but I did make it up there, and that actually rejuvenated my dad's kids. I tell you, they're just so awesome. And so we get ready back for school, and so little issue today, so I wanted to be up there to welcome them back on their first day, but we're gonna go up there and we're now gonna do our reading once a month in person. So I'm asking a group of guys, particularly the men of Fairwood, but anybody want to join us, feel free. But we're gonna start doing it now once a month, and so and we'll do that, and periodically welcome them back and just keep them going, just keep them encouraged. It's they're awesome and they're ready.
It was a good day up there that day. We did a lot of hot dogs, so it was a good day. I met a lot of people.
I didn't get one, but hey, that's cool. Whatever, And so, but thank y'all again. As 5-star to the Fairwood Community Action Association. They do this every year, and it's a great event to be part of and be there.
Corey, this is Miss Johnson.
Miss Johnson, how are you?
I'm doing great, and how everybody else doing? But we having an issue over here. We had at the end of the school year last year with the school buses. They going 50 miles an hour in a resident area, flying on the buses. So who do we need to contact about that? We need not have any child hurt on the school bus.
I know that's right. If them cameras didn't get them, I don't know what's gonna stop them like that, because that's interesting. And so,
well, I'm talking about in the neighborhood. I know my camera got them, but we need to have this stop.
Yes, ma'am.
So we need to contact
Fulton County schools.
Okay.
But to that point, I don't know. They should excuse speeding in a community like that with a bus, particularly a school bus, should not ever exist. As I know, they come down here nice and slow down the street, but it's going to start up an initiative to talk, because there are 200 bus drivers short, and I guess they're trying to make up times. They have some kids getting home late, about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and so. We want to ensure that our kids be balanced and get home at a decent time, particularly now that it's going to start getting dark in about a month or two. And so, but they're literally 200
might not make it home. If they speeding down the street 50
And
miles an
Ms.
hour and you
and Ms.
gotta
Johnson,
stop at the stop sign. I'll
trust me,
take care of it.
I understand that. It's not completely. There's no excuse for that. And so, because you mentioned that, I was just following up behind us. There are 200 bus drivers short. So, in some people's mindset, them drivers, I guess they're trying to just get them kids home. But at the end of the day, no safety, no accidents, because that is the number one goal. Is you want them to return home as they left, and so.
Right.
We do understand, as you want to return home as you left. And so I completely understand that. And so that's Fulton County Schools, and that's who can be addressed. I can see about reaching out and getting a actual contact person within the school system specifically who you can talk to about this issue and what recourse or resolve that they plan on having. Because I thought they had them little cameras installed.
Councilman
They go
Reeves,
over a speed limit. Yes, ma'am.
I have the number.
Oh, please share. I'll get it. Yes, ma'am. As Sheila would have it. Please share.
Councilman Reeves, it's Miss Brown. We had the same problem. I have a number she can call.
Please share the number. Please
I
share
have
the
a number she can call.
Yes, go ahead. Please share.
We had the
You share.
same problem one time. So if you have a pen, I can give you the number.
I'm ready.
The number is 470-254. Okay, 470-254.
We got 470-254.
6060.
And this is for who?
Ms. Brown, do you have a name? I think the phone is going to drop on it.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I don't have a name, but they resolved our problem. We have a bus problem a couple of years ago. That's the number that I had in my phone for them.
We'll say Fulton County Bus.
We called and they
School bus
were really
complaint.
helpful and they resolved our problem. So when it came to the
That's the trend.
yeah, but she need to try to find out the bus number and things like that if she can find that out. Or just know the route, know the street that they're
I think the short version of what she was saying is you'll probably need to know the school bus number when you call to report it, because they'll need to know specifically which bus they're going after.
that they're coming.
Thank you, Ms. Brown.
And that's the Stockport and transportation number.
Fulton County.
Fulton County, I'm sorry, Fulton County, transportation number.
We don't have a transportation department yet.
I'm speaking it in existence.
Yes, you are. Absolutely. And so need that. So too, anybody else? Do not forget we have a work session tomorrow. So tune in. Very packed agenda for a work session. And so we're coming off a recess and stay engaged, stay tuned. But speaking of that is, I will say this, as we did have a call with the city earlier today at 4 o'clock. And so there's grants available for municipalities and for nonprofits from the NLC and for GMA, that's the National League of Cities, NLC, and GMA, Georgia Municipal Association. And the portion that is for the nonprofits, we're extrapolating all of them grants out, and we're going to do a 5-round seminar as we're going to send them through HOAs, nonprofits, for them to identify a grant that they want to go after. And we're going to have a 5-round series of actually writing that grant. You'll be writing that grant. And I'm gonna pick one and I'm gonna write as well. We're gonna do 2 rounds in the day, one from 10 to 12, and then another one from 6 to 8, and then on the weekend from 8 to 1. And the 5th meeting, that's when we're gonna have things wrapped up and mail it off and send it off, as we're gonna be looking to have grant reviewers and technical assistants there to, like, kind of help along to go with this process. I asked the city, would they support that and take it citywide, because it can resolve a lot of issues, particularly with individual communities. And since HOAs are typically a 501c3, they qualify. And so to get that funding. And so it is available now. We're going to be looking at the closing dates of when they will do. And so we're going to kind of expedite this process. So I do want y'all to be aware of that. And we will be sending out. And if anybody wants to receive that information, put your information in the chat, and we'll be sure to include you on the email blast as we are getting that finalized. And the 911 cell towers in there too, that is in some of that infrastructure. So that's for Miss Mafford. So I'll probably be writing that one as or we'll be putting that with the city to write as we look on bringing that grants manager on board Thursday.
Miss Ernestine Sumner has her hand up.
Hey, Ms. Ernestine.
I just wanted to ask a question. I know council is working on the budget for the month of August. Wanted to know if you had any idea of when the sanitation issue would come back to the council for recommendations, or companies that have put those items out to bid for sanitation before the end of the year?
See, that's a very good question, right? Because it would have normally processed been in, because our budget starts October 1. So it's August 8th. And so we usually would need to have that information. I'm going to say it's not going to be at this meeting, but I'm thinking if it's not on the 22nd agenda, it would have to be September, because it would just be fiscally responsible of staff to bring us back that, so we can have that put into the budget on any incurred expenses the city may incur. And so for the upcoming year, or projected costs on what that will be to go towards our general fund to spend on the projects for the constituency. So I'm gonna be sure to ask that question.
Will that be sent out as a vote to the constituents of?
No, ma'am.
No?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
And so, and the reason I say that is because it's an RFP process. They went through the process, and I think the bid closed. So there's a quiet period. So it's no, as from a DS perspective, is can't talk about that situation from any of one of the vendors, because that would be deemed how anybody ever want to tip the scale as favorable, non-favorable, whatever. But to make the process fair and balanced, as a quiet period. So it's not even for a topic of discussion. At least I can't discuss it. And so, but to my understanding, the bids are in, and they're now closed.
All right, thank you.
So, but I will definitely keep you abreast on what the recommendation will be, because we did take that back to what we would have liked to see in there, particularly where the KPIs, and if they're not performing, as y'all clearly see that this issue at GFL is throughout the region, and it's not particular to our city. So they're failing in every aspect as far as review process on what the news reported from the story they did on GFL and throughout the Southeast region. So that's interesting.
Yes, it has been. Thank you.
Ms. Brown?
Yes, Councilman. And I think Al, Al, nobody is on the line tonight from Sabre Chase on Buffington Road. There's a piece of land that's next to Sabre Chase that has been
Ms. Brown,
cleared,
your sound is going out.
and there's a very old was there because the brush was so high. But they just cleared it. Hear me? Oh, okay. I was talking about the land that was cleared on Buffington Road next to Sabre Chase. Have you seen it? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know?
To the right or to the left?
It's right next to Sabre Chase directly next to the subdivision.
Okay, no, I'm
They just cleared it
I know the
last
parcel
week.
you're talking about, but no, I'm not aware of them clearing the land. Because
the house, the old house it's a really old house that's on that property. They haven't, the house is still standing. What's left of the house is still standing.
It's the
and I know Al was on
one?
next door saying he's been waiting 6 years. Yes.
The brick houses.
Yes. He said he's been waiting 6 years. Well, you wouldn't even know the house was there until they just cleared it off. You have to ride by there to see it.
I'm gonna go right.
But Al said he's been trying to get it cleared for 6 years. Yeah, he said he's been trying to get it cleared for 6 years. But the home, what's left of it, is still on the property. They didn't clear it off. And I was just wondering, do you have any idea what's going to happen with that land? It's a large piece of land. It's maybe an acre or two, maybe. Might be more than that. But it's directly next to Sabre Chase. You would have never known that the property was there until they just cleared it off last week.
You know what? Let me look into and see where there's anybody. Tamia, let's look into that and see, because they would have been issued a land disturbance permit if that's the city of South Fulton, and which I'm hoping is the city of South Fulton. And so, because it could be College Park or Union City. So, but that's interesting. I do want to know what's going on there. But I know Al would know, so I'm gonna call him after this and check on that.
Yeah, Al, he would know about it because he's been commenting about it on Nextdoor. Okay, let me know.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Miller-Matt?
Yes, thank you. 2 questions, Councilman. One, on the sanitation thing, I know you said the bids are closed. As the process moves along, will there be any more opportunity for public information?
Mr. Miller-Matt, I'm gonna be honest with you. I do not think so. I think that it'll come up for recommendation, in which y'all will definitely know. And at that time is public comment will be germane to that topic, and the public will be able to speak at public comment at the time allotted. And so, and that's as we, make their staff is going through the process, and they're going to come back with a recommendation for who they think should be the sanitation provider, which will be on the agenda, which is we will definitely go over that that previous day before, which is Monday, as that will be on Tuesday's agenda. I don't know if it's going to be on the 22nd or September, but I think it will be on one of them days, or it will be a special call meeting.
So with that, and considering the typical agendas that we're accustomed to, how will the public receive information, and how will the public be able to express their their concerns or even comment on it.
Of all the people who have been selected, or about the complaints or
Before-
desires of what it wish would have. And so,
Well, considering that this is going to hit everyone's pockets, I think that before a final decision is made, somehow a formal information process for the community should be introduced in some way so that we have an understanding of what the expectation is going to be and be able to say something about it.
a rollout plan, how it's going to be rolled out.
More than that, just a rollout plan.
And implement it.
Before an implementation.
You're talking about before a decision is made.
Yeah, before it's finalized.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, please.
Alrighty, generally in the procurement process, they're gonna go out for a minimum of 3 bids. They're gonna come back in-house. They're gonna look at, from a government perspective, either the lowest bidder or the best company to fulfill the requested contract. The information was put out on the streets with the bid on what they were looking to do, which was open to the public to review it. And they also had a question answer period, which anyone was allowed to attend, because we actually had some residents that attended and asked questions and made their comments known. And so once it goes through that process, there isn't normally a time frame that is going to go to the public. What would happen is, once the packets are done, they're going to find out if that company is responsive and responsible, meaning they met all the criteria of what the bid was created to ask. And then at that point, if they've made it and they qualify, then the city is supposed to go in front of, I guess, the council to approve the contract. And then it will go into stages of how they're going to roll it out. But normally in a procurement process, because multiple procurements are happening, I'm not saying that it doesn't impact you, but that process has already happened. The closest that you'll get to that is the time when they bring it to the council. And at that point, they're asking to let the contract through. And so that would be the best time that you're gonna have to speak up to say something. Otherwise, it's going to be processed the normal procurement process.
But right, and when we still have the, if we deem it to not be the most adequate choice, the council has the right to also reject it, which that will start the process all over again. And so, but then if all bids are deemed non-responsive, then they'll kick it back out on the street.
Okay. And I hear that, and I understand the procurement process. And I think some factors that cause me some concern, and I think the concern is pretty broad amongst a lot of citizens, as you've seen over the months of complaints and widespread concern, is that, and part of this is COVID and people have not been able to participate. I think the flaws have been, one, we can't see how the determinations have been made or are being made regarding the existing service providers as to their level of customer service and their level of performance. And when people talk about what's going on in their world in terms of missed days of service, lack of customer service response to complaints, and not knowing whether or not the city has taken all of that into consideration, and if they're able to even review service complaints, or if there's even a a method of collection of those complaints so that the city can see what is happening from a customer service standpoint to help make those decisions. It's hard to expect that we're going to get the best possible service if all that's going to be considered, or if the big consideration is leaning towards the lowest bidder.
Oh, well, or best value. And so, but let me just say this, Dr. Mathis, that'll be the DS's job, as those questions, you have those questions, and at the time they present them, these are the questions that I would ask as they're considering in discussion for this contract. So, and they will have to be, to the most acceptable answer, because they spent a lot of time, the community did, on making those issues be known and articulating that the reasons why, particularly some companies, from the experience that they have had. So that's our duty to do that.
True. But and I know I'm beating a dead horse. Well, it's not dead, it's dying. But in that comment process and the survey process that happened earlier in the year, many people were not able to participate in that survey.
Correct.
Because we didn't get it. And
correct. It's a flawed process. That's what you're saying. And so I don't know what you're getting at.
Yeah.
And so I'm not happy with that process neither, because I'm like, yeah. So it's needed max participation, and because some of the people who did receive didn't even fill it out. They know what it was.
Right.
So I would suggest that when it hits the agenda, that you need to come with the list of things to highlight and point out in front of the council, in front of the public, that would make them pause on not agreeing to go forward with the contract. If these things where you point out, have you verified the reputation of the organization or the customer service response or the percentage of residents who like, I would hit that list and just run it down, question after question after question, because you don't have but 2 minutes. So I would hit all the questions.
Right. And there's only 15 questions. And so
that's another flawed part of the process, is that in the council meetings, 30 minutes is allowed, which gives only time for 15 people to make comment.
But that's why you have Monday Night Live, and that's why we have Legislative Monday. So you can definitely make your voice known here.
This is your meeting. This is not council meeting, and this does not hit the city manager's desk or whoever else in the city is making these final decisions on it. Come on, Councilman, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, get it. I do understand. But as to your point is, you email the city manager and CC me in on it. Those are hitting her desk, and as we're the government, so we just pretty much had the government going to go, and it's up to us if we want to accept that bid or not. And if it's not satisfactory to what, and I'm talking about when I say satisfactory, is liquidated damages that we will seek if they don't meet these metrics and milestones. See, as that's the only way that you can, to me, let me say that, is to really kind of guarantee any type of thing that they will do, because liquidated damages, when that hits, that's cutting them short of their pay. So they usually try to make the metrics and milestone, and an increase in customer service, like answering the phones, will be kind of just like necessary. And so as we have a 311 call, you can call 24 hours a day. Somebody might get home at 11:30 or 2 in the morning, but they put their trash out. That's what time they get home on trash day. And so want to know if they're going to come in the morning to do it. So I think that things of that nature should be instituted just generically. And so, but as we would help that situation along. So, but like I said, as a quiet period, legally bound to can't really discuss it. I can't. But you have to call them to the office, and feel free. to discuss with the administration though.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I won't take up any more of everyone else's time. I'm sorry.
Ms.
No, please.
Millsap, do not be sorry, because your points are always relevant, and that's the whole point of this meeting, is for us to talk about the concerns of what y'all want to discuss. So
Well, sanitation
don't
is the
ever
hottest button
apologize for
on
that.
the issue, right? And so, you know, you're good, as I'm pretty sure people did want to know that. Any more questions?
No, but at the end of the day, you know, I run down the announcements.
Absolutely. Well,
So,
hold on, wait. Shout
uh-oh.
out to Miss Joyce Armstead. Did you have anything you want to say for the old net room?
Hello to everybody. Glad I was able to make it this evening. The only thing I have is starting September the 10th. We're going to start a coat and blanket drive for the holidays. And we're working on getting the fly out right now.
Absolutely. Coat and blanket drive. Don't we do who did the socks? Or somebody who did socks. As
The Girl Scouts does socks and blankets, and so they are always looking for causes to support, and so we can partner you with them because they like to provide those supplies.
awesome. And so that's great. Thank you, Sister Joyce. We appreciate that. Does
That's all
anybody
I
else have
have.
any upcoming events or anything? Meetings, HOA meeting, community meetings, or festival?
Can I just say to all the people who are on here, we do a quarterly HOA meeting, and all of the HOAs that we have contacts for have been invited. All of them do not always attend or reply to the emails. And so Councilman Reeves is asked to attend all HOA meetings that you have, and we've only been asked to attend two or three HOA meetings. So if your HOA is having a meeting, please let us know. If he's not there, it's because I don't know to put it on his calendar. So please find out when is your HOA meetings and let me know so I can make sure they're on his calendar. That's a big one. We are coming to a close on the final Friday Night Live for this year. It's going to be a police versus fire kickball game, which will then go in at dusk to the family movie night. So we'll have the DJ and everything else. So please come on out to Burdette for that final one. Next year, we are looking for HOAs to compete against each other for the kickball, basketball, flag football,
tennis.
and they want tennis now. So please
I want to
prepare.
tennis this year. They just tried to, did the most not make it.
So, we want to have the communities come out and play. So prepare your neighbors to put a team together. Tomorrow is the August council work session and zoning meeting. This coming Saturday is a Start Your Business Summit at Burdette 10 to 2. It is free for anyone who wants to attend with lunch. They're also having Fit Gym is having a back to school event this Saturday. South Fulton University is starting on the 15th. So if any of you wanted to participate, now's the time to sign up. August 19th through the 28th is the play at the Southwest Art Center, Chicken and Biscuits, which we actually have a local talent to support. So if you can get out and see that, please go. Feeding Georgia Families is in need of incontinence pads for seniors and diapers, and sanitary pads for women. So if any of those you have to donate those, please let us know. Code enforcement is recruiting volunteers to help senior citizens. City of South Fulton jobs are available. Old National LCI survey has started on what do you want to see on Old National. Did anybody get affected by the redistricting? Verify your information before the elections. They have started a 988 suicide prevention line. So please make sure people are aware of that. And we just had a back to school event. So today was the first day back to school. And we just finished up the Taste of Soul Food recap and the police versus fire flag football. Fire has won flag football and basketball. And in summary, is there any speakers that you want me to work on getting scheduled? Ms. Williams.
Yes, I just wanted to mention too that Thursday.
Can't hear you
You can't hear me?
now.
Can you hear me? So
Yes.
on Thursday, okay, on Thursday, August 11th at 7:00 p.m. If you would like to be a delegate for representing Fulton County Democratic Committee, then they will have a meeting on Thursday at 7 p.m. for the Democratic Convention, which will be in Columbus, Georgia.
All right, Ms. Miller-Mapp.
I will say this, Mr. Mapp, are you still, if you was talking, you was on mute.
I'm sorry. You mentioned redistricting, and I knew that was coming up, but how would we know if we've been redistricted?
That's the point. They're saying to go check your address on where you're supposed to go.
Where do you check?
I'm checking on my voter page.
Hold on, let me pull up. the
You go
flyer.
to my voter page or, but let me just say this, the one switch that is the couple of house districts switched up, like this used to be 64, now it's 68. And that commission district switched from 6 to 5. So when the new year takes place is Marvin Arrington will be our representative and it would no longer be Khadija Abdul-Rahman. And so those are the two switches that affected, or the redistricting that affected this area.
And that's on my voter page?
It should be, yes, ma'am.
The flyer that I received has Fulton Votes 2022, integrity, security, and efficiency. Fulton County voters did redistricting effective. Verify your district information before the 2022 elections at fultoncountyga.gov/redistricting.
I think somebody's trying to say something.
Ms. Sheila, we can't hear you.
Yeah, I think it's the rain. It's like something's going on with the signal today.
So again, that is fultoncountyga.gov/redistricting to verify your district information before the 2022 elections.
But I would, okay, right, okay, good deal, good deal. But let me just say this, as we do have a local talented support for chicken and biscuits, and because opening night is when? Tamiko?
August 18th.
It's the 18th, right? That's the Thursday.
I'm sorry, the 19th.
Right, because I thought it was Friday, and that's Friday Night Live. And so
Oh, that was me, Councilman. Some of us are.
Huh?
She put herself back on mute.
She said some of us are something.
She went back on mute. So
Okay.
go ahead.
Well, and then so, and I be tending to fill with a meeting that Saturday morning, then I fly out. But that's going to be running through the end of August. But that next Friday is do a millennial night out type deal. But I will tell you that for being loyal listeners and being on this call, as everybody, I'll give each of y'all 2 tickets, and then I'll do like a little reception or something before the play, just to honor y'all and to have something, outside of youth and seniors. And so we'll just say, y'all will be millennials for the evening. And so we'll just, do something and have like a little private reception or something. So if you want to do, that'll be the following Friday, which is, what's that, the 27th, I think. And so,
26, August the 26th.
August 26th. Thank you, Sister Jane. And so and we will, that's something that, we can do. One is to support our, our local talent. 2 is that as being just, y'all dedicated along with myself. And so I do it for you guys, so y'all should be rewarded as well. So 2 tickets for evening out. And so as chicken and biscuits, I mean, I want to go see a play. And so, it's I think that'll be a good outing. So just email Tamiko if you want to get the tickets. Now I'm gonna have to get a deadline because you got to go ahead and purchase the tickets. When is a good deadline? What's that? The 22nd by 5 p.m. And so everybody, but if you want, this is us, and so we can all kind of get a reserved seating together as as we arrive and come in style, because this is how we do it in the 5th district. But we are representative of the city and the brand. So, and y'all are the best part of it. And so I think that should be rewarded. As we can talk all politics, but sometimes you got to just enjoy life too. So I think that'd be an awesome deal, and it's gonna be an awesome play. That all being said is that
Can I ask one other question of Tamika? Tamika, the information you gave in reference to the items for the women, is that in the latest newsletter, that information?
I didn't read it today, but it should be. If it's not, it's in the last one. It is, if you go to our website, district5mewe.org, it is on the resource page, one of our nonprofits that we partner with, and it is Feeding Georgia Families. And so if you go to our website, you can go to their website directly.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All righty, again, he needs you to email me that you want to attend the play, not chat me, because I have to keep a list. So send it to my email. When we cut this off, then the chat is gone. So email me.
yeah, because we're gonna do like a little private reception out there first and beforehand. So it's and so I just know what because I believe in giving y'all the best. Okay, so because y'all the best, and so it's make sure that happens. And but outside of that, look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And thank you for taking time out of your day to join this call this evening and staying engaged and staying a part of the process, as tedious and as sometimes it's called a circus, as it is. But y'all hang tough and stay with there, because one thing we will be is educated and not misinformed on the process and of what we do and how we do it, and also to connect the resources that we do have together within this community. And so I think that is key and vital to our growth. And I do want everybody to come out if you can make it to the last one, is because we're going to be taking everything except for the bingo now. That's bingo night too now. By the way, there's bingo night. And so that's it was a big deal and great success the last time. Had wonderful prizes to give away. That'll be up in the community room, but everything else will be taken out at the field. And the reason why that is because the city of South Fulton is in the process of acquiring it in those final stages. And so we will own that field. And speaking of that field, the one thing that I do believe is, I mean, of course, I would love to have a Veterans Memorial Park there, but the one thing that this community needs that we lack is a usable track. And so, because I used to go walk down, and when I was training for the PC road races down at McNair when it was on the lower field, and there's no track that we can freely walk on without going to College Park or whatever, and outside the area. And I think that that would be a nice spot for it. And along with potentially a fire station on the side is a well-lit safety safe zone that has competition, because it has going to have a noise barrier wall that goes around it and can have kind of stadium seats for some competition, and then in the field infield is interchangeable because people play soccer down there, cricket, and of course your kickball and just football games, and then people just use it to work out. As we'll try to see if we can get, like the other parks, is the fitness equipment that goes around as well. So if that is so amenable to the constituency here, and if that's an idea then that y'all like, let me know so we can go ahead and start the process on it, as there's funding for this right now. And so, as I don't want to be a part of a parks master plan that goes through all this planning, the last part they get to is funding, and there ain't no funds, and it's all a dream and a prayer, when right now we have an opportunity to have the funding to specifically get designated for these projects. So I do not want to miss that opportunity. And so that is a fact. But the community will have to sign off on that, as we'll be very specific. So if that's something to think about it, let me know, and we'll begin the process. But outside of that, thank y'all again for taking time out of this day. And I love you. You can't do nothing about it. And think good of South Fulton. Say something good about South Fulton, because you are South Fulton and you're the best part. Take care. Have a good evening.